We impose the supremacy with the aid of reinforcements from even more powerful reactive forces. Growing up is one long, constantly renewed becoming reactive of active dissipative forces. 74 Scratch the surface of reflective commentary and an older word erupts in its naked form. Never do that again, always do what I tell you. The sensations of pride, a shame, a guilt. Everything begins to happen between a me and the I, doubling it another redundancy. The proper name holds the two together. All of this constitutes the creation of an incredible new potential. But also marks an important setback. The path taken at a point of bifurcation can now be willed, but powerful forces descend to assure that what the body wills is, on average, what society wills for it. 75 The reactive nature of the syntheses of recognition provides a hook for reactive forces from the social field to clamp into the flesh. A society is a dissipative structure with its own determining tension between unlimited and everything private has a double assignation, yours and mine. Our possessions are dearer to us than life itself, but we know how to share them with those we love. Love is conjugal, by definition, everywhere. Only attractive couples dance ritual circles around each other like Newtonian planets around an invisible sun. Everywhere, the lifeless promise of mutual possession. Bodies mouthing the same touching refrains, I do, I am yours, if you touch him I'll kill you. You will see. If you turn on the TV, you will see repeats and commercials for home goods. You will see that the future has folded into the past. All of the endless variations on what it is to be human, not to mention inhuman, that can be observed in the social field have folded into a limited grid of repetitive categories, which have folded yet again into the reproductive family unit. Reduction. Collapse of the wave packet. The future past is the eternal return of the same, rather than the continual creation of difference. The TV screen is only one of many mechanisms for reducing the boundaries of the universe to the dimensions of a microcosm. They make the wife the husband's mother, and the boss his daddy. Everything is always already reduced to categories that are then mapped back into a whitewashed childhood home with a comforting fire crackling in the den. 78 We are all under pressure to regress. When we do, the past we resurrect is a myth, a golden age of satiation free from gastrointestinal upset, a Garden of Eden of home comfort the 50s never were. Everything has gotten fuzzy. Indeterminate, both this and that, nipple and God. But this kind of indeterminacy is totally different from the kind we have discussed up to now. It is not an objective indeterminacy, only a retrospective, fantasied one, an imaginary confusion between the present and the past. Not the real choice presented by indefinitely bifurcated becomings. It is not an impingement of chance. It is highly determined, overdetermined. This and that everything is tend to be the same, this and the same, that over and over again. Like a broken record. It's a trap. The whole thing is an optical illusion produced by overcoding. It is an objective illusion. A real imaginary capture that exploits a reactive streak in everybody to trap them in the same fantasies. In identical suburban homes. In predictable careers. In adorable hobbies that offer controlled reconnection with subhuman part objects as long as they don't get out of hand. 79 The only easy way out of stereotype regression is stereotype breakdown. I see it now. It's all a lie. I wasn't good and I wasn't cute. The dark spot was between my mother's legs. Did she belong to him? I wanted to fuck my mother and kill my father. Or was it the other way around? I've got it. I didn't have a prick to do it with, so I had to learn to love my father and be my own mother. But she was already herself and I hated her for that. Wait a minute, am I a boy or a girl? Am I gay or straight? Am I me or somebody else? Am I alive or dead? Did I kill God or am I God? Or. The end of the indeterminate, this and that was just a way of getting in a good or a two. We've heard it all a million times before. Luckily, there is psychoanalysis to teach us how to keep swallowing our childhood vomit with all too human dignity. Pause. How D and G differ from common psychological and psychoanalytic conceptions. There is no interiority in the sense of a closed, self-reflexive system. There is only multileveled infolding of an alitery outside, with which the infolding remains in contact as a dissipative structure. Reactive forces do impose self-reflection on the infolding at a certain level. On that level, a more rigid boundary takes shape between self and other, but the cooling off is never complete. The self remains susceptible to identity crises brought on by confusions between inside and outside. A membranous porosity subsists, muted on the other level and always threatens to break through. Subjectification is the constitution, through interlocking passive and active syntheses on every stratum, of infoldings of varying porosity. Human subjectivity in the sense of personal thought or feeling is a special case existing only on one level of a dissipated human body system, the bounded, dominated level of the body as subjected group. A human subject in the broad sense is a superindividual composed of a multitude of sub-individuals comparable to muck and sedimentary rock, but doubled by surplus value layers of larval and fledgling cells. These grow intrinsically from the contractive syntheses, impersonal perception sensations of their infoldings. As in the case of muck, an overcoding mechanism exists Oedipus. It does not create a self, but acts on already constituted surplus value cells to extract a categorical person, stereotyped, familiarized pious reproductive system. The person always has the potential to reconnect with his impersonality to become a subject group, singular. Orphan, atheist, inhuman. Since a person is only as stable as its constituent contractions, that is, metastable, it can be precipitated into a crisis state despite its best intentions. The will to change or to stay the same is not an act of determination on the part of a unified subject in simple response to self-reflection or an internal impulse. It is a state of self-organized indeterminacy in response to complex causal constraints. It constitutes a real degree of freedom. But the choice belongs to the overall dissipative system with its plurality of selves. And not the person, it is objectively co-caused at the crossroads of chance and determinacy. It is an objective illusion of the molar person to perceive the physical reality of free action as a metaphysical freedom or human right exercised by a unified, self-directing, full causal agent. The family is not a closed microcosm, even if it is represented and represents itself as one. It opens directly onto the social field. A body does not grow up sheltered from society, enclosed in the family that feeds it. Rather, the family opens the body to society's feeding itself off it. The family is a device for the capture of body potential, channelization by social forces of domination dedicated to the vampiric extraction of surplus value and the cyclic resupply of bodies from which this surplus value is sucked. 81. Desire is not desire for an object, except to the extent that whole attractors, represented by anything from an organ to a god, are imposed on the body by reactive forces. It is not a drive in the Freudian sense. And it is not a structure in the sense that language is a structure in the Saussurean model adopted by Lacanians. It can be made to be these things on one of its levels. That level is more the straitjacketing of desire, desire turned resentfully against itself. Desire is the production of singular states of intensity by the repulsion attraction of limitative bodies without organs, governed by deterministic whole attractors, and non-limitative bodies without organs, governed by chance-ridden fractal attractors. In its widest connotation, it is the plane of consistency as multiple co-causal becoming, interactions between any number of fractal and whole attractors on many levels, nothing less than the abstract machine. On the human level, it is never a strictly personal affair, but a tension between sub- and superpersonal tendencies that interest the person as empty category. In an ethical context, it is the tendency of one of the states created by the interplay of bodies without organs to remain in existence or return to existence, not for merely reproductive ends, but in order to actualize its potential to increasingly higher degrees, Spinoza's conatus. It is the relative, and everything private has a double assignation, yours and mine. Our possessions are dearer to us than life itself.